We live in a world more connected than ever before. With a single click, you can message a friend across the globe, post a selfie, or scroll through endless videos that never seem to stop. On the surface, it looks like we should be happier than any generation before us. But if you look deeper, beneath the filters and the highlight reels, you'll find something troubling. Depression in young adults is rising at an alarming rate. And the scariest part, it's happening silently. Many don't even realize how many people around them are suffering in silence. So, why is this happening? Why is a generation with more opportunities, more technology, and more access to information struggling more than ever with their mental health? To answer that, we need to peel back the layers and look at what life really feels like for young adults today. Let's start with pressure. Young adults today face enormous pressure in almost every direction. There's the pressure to succeed academically, the pressure to land a great job, the pressure to look perfect, the pressure to be constantly productive. Social media amplifies this pressure, making it seem like everyone else is ahead, living their best life, while you're the only one struggling. It's no wonder so many young people feel like they're falling behind, even when they're doing their best just to keep up. But it goes deeper. Social media doesn't just show us other people's lives, it shapes the way we see our own. Imagine scrolling through endless posts of vacations, new cars, relationships, and perfect bodies. Even if you know, logically, that these are highlights and not reality, your brain can't help but compare. And comparison, as they say, is the thief of joy. Over time, this constant cycle of comparison eats away at self-esteem and plants the seeds of depression. Another reason depression is rising is loneliness. You might think, how can people be lonely when they have thousands of followers and friends online? But here's the truth, digital connection isn't the same as real human connection. Studies show that despite being more connected, young adults report higher levels of loneliness than older generations. You can be surrounded by likes, comments, and emojis, and still feel completely alone. That emptiness is one of the biggest silent drivers of depression. And then, there's the uncertainty of the future. Previous generations often had a clearer path: education, stable job, home, family. But for today's young adults, that path is full of roadblocks. Rising costs of living, student loan debt, unstable job markets, global crises, climate change, all these uncertainties pile on top of one another. Imagine being told you're supposed to dream big, but the world you're stepping into feels unstable and unpredictable. That weight is crushing. Let's not forget about the stigma. Even though conversations about mental health have become more open in recent years, there's still a heavy stigma attached to depression. Many young adults feel they can't talk about their struggles. They fear being labeled as weak, dramatic, or lazy. So, instead of reaching out, they keep it bottled up, putting on a smile for the world while their mind quietly sinks deeper. That silence only makes the epidemic stronger. But there's also something else contributing to this rise: the pace of modern life. Everything moves fast: news, technology, trends. We are constantly bombarded with information, notifications, and updates. The brain, wired for survival, isn't built to process this level of constant stimulation. Over time, it creates mental fatigue and burnout, which can spiral into depression. And let's talk about identity. Young adulthood is the time when people are figuring out who they are, what they want, and where they belong. But in today's world, with so many expectations and comparisons, figuring that out feels overwhelming. Some feel like they're running out of time, like if they haven't figured out their career, relationship, or purpose by their early 20s, they are already behind. This constant questioning of identity and worth is another silent force driving depression higher. Now here's something many people don't realize. Depression doesn't always look like sadness. It doesn't always mean crying or lying in bed all day. In young adults, it can look like irritability, fatigue, losing interest in things, or just feeling them. Some push themselves harder, trying to cover it up by staying busy, while others quietly withdraw. Because it looks different in everyone, it's easy for depression to hide in plain sight. So what can we do about it? The first step is awareness. Talking about depression openly helps strip away the shame. When young adults see others sharing their struggles, it reminds them they are not alone. The silent epidemic only thrives in the dark, so shining a light on it is one of the most powerful things we can do. We also need to rethink how we define success. For too long, success has meant grades, jobs, money, or achievements. But maybe real success is also about balance, mental peace, and building genuine connections. Young adults need to know that it's okay to rest, it's okay to take time to figure things out, and it's okay to not have everything perfect. And for those who are struggling right now, it's important to understand this. Depression is not a personal failure. It's not a weakness. It's an illness, just like any other, and it deserves treatment and compassion. Therapy, support groups, lifestyle changes, medication. There are paths to healing, and nobody has to walk them alone. Imagine if we lived in a world where people didn't just ask, "How are you?" but genuinely listened for the answer. A world where young adults didn't feel like they had to wear masks to hide their pain. A world where seeking help was seen as a sign of courage, not weakness. That's the world we should be building. The silent epidemic of depression in young adults is real, but silence doesn't have to win. By talking about it, by checking in on each other, by creating communities of support, we can break the cycle. And maybe one day, young adults will grow up in a world where mental health is treated with the same care and urgency as physical health. Until then, if you're struggling, please know this: you are not alone. Your story matters, and reaching out for help is one of the bravest steps you can take. The silent epidemic doesn't have to stay silent, not if we speak, not if we listen, and not if we stand together.